Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate coming at you on the wonderful, fantastic holiday season of 2014. And it's probably, speaking of 14, it's probably about 14 degrees Fahrenheit right now outside. So I'm not a big fan of below freezing temperatures. So if I'm a little pissed off in this video, that's why. But luckily I'm not outside, so I guess I can be a little less pissed off. So I'm here to do got a lovely movie review request from, I'm pretty sure his name is like Will Powell. You know, I can remember it easy because one of my favorite actors is of course William Powell. So it's from Will Powell, and I think this particular the request, I think Will Powell actually lives in the UK if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of cool because he requested that I review something that I definitely grew up with and kind of like, which is the movie American Werewolf in London, the John Landis film. And I had bought this DVD probably as long ago as like 2006 or something like that, or maybe 2006 or 7, probably from Circuit City, and it was still wrapped. I hadn't opened it, and it was a 2001 like special edition DVD of American Werewolf in London, and I'd bought it years and years ago. I'm pretty sure I got it at Circuit City cheaply or something, and it never had been wrapped. And today, or not today when it's uploaded, but today when I'm shooting this video, I unwrapped it, the DVD that's been in shrink wrap for over 10 years. And I hoped, because some DVDs over time they just rot and stop working, and I hoped that DVD still worked because I hadn't even used it yet. And glory be hallelujah, the DVD worked. So I'm here to do the review request of Will Powell and review An American Werewolf in London. And thank you very much for the request. It makes me feel like, people are watching, people haven't forgotten about me here as I'm out in the interstellar space looking for Matt Damon on an ice planet Hoth with like the ground on the ground and the sky and everything like that. So feel free to check out my review of Interstellar, the video that I uploaded before this one. I'm so disappointed. I don't even know why I go to movies anymore. I was so disappointed in it. So be sure to check out that review for those thoughts on that movie. So as for American Werewolf in London, I've seen this probably quite a while ago when I was a kid, and I gotta tell you, I don't necessarily like, I know I reviewed The Howling for the Spooktacular. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that word again so soon. Let me do it again. Spooktacular. I did it for my Spooktacular movie reviews in September, October, or season whatever, a couple months ago or a month ago or so. And I didn't mention in that, I don't think I mentioned in that review that I'm more of I don't really like monsters per se, but if I had to choose between vampires and werewolves, I like werewolves more. I've always kind of liked werewolves more. I got this rubber, like, Wolfman rubber little figure that was just like, he was like in this position, like, and he was just like wolf, and then he had like blue pants on from like Toys R Us way back in the 80s. And I probably still have it somewhere, and it's just the coolest little, it's one of these really rubber things where it's like you can bend, like, it's really the coolest little, like, generic rubber Wolfman ever. And maybe if I can find it, I'll shoot a video or take pictures of it to show you, to insert in here or something like that to show you. I don't know if I can find it, but if I can't, alas, there'll be no video or pictures of it. But it's just the coolest little Wolfman generic rubber thing, and I think, actually, believe it or not, I mean, getting that is before I saw any of the old Lon Chaney, or anything like that, Wolfman movies. So I mean, I think that little rubber figure really kind of instilled in me, like, it's just so cool to me. And even still, there's something about that little rubber Wolfman that just, I don't know, I really liked it. So, and like it, not past tense, I like it. So long story short, I mean, I kind of grew up, I can't remember when I first saw this. I don't know, I can't remember, but I remember always thinking it was pretty goddamn cool. And of course when I saw it, which could have been as early as the late 80s, probably early 90s, I might have even seen it like in the late 80s, I don't know. Early 90s for sure. Obviously it was still relatively new, and not everything has necessarily gone to CG, completely CG yet. So the effects at that time were still, and I guess even still now, I'm afraid, having revisited it for the first time in many, many, many years, it's not, the effects don't hold up quite as wonderfully as I remember, but they're still, really fantastic. So at the time, I mean, when I first saw it, the effects were like top notch, just the best shit ever. And they still are really, really, really fantastic. The effects I'm referring to are just, well, pretty much everything, but like the transition scene when he transitions from a man to a wolf. So this movie actually, when I was a kid, really, and still even watching it now, every time I watch the beginning where they're, I like how it starts, where they're just like on the moors and just hiking. I don't know how they ended up where they are and why, but they're there. I just kind of like I like this was written and directed by John Landis, so I like the dialogue between these two guys when we first see them, and I like both actors. And to be honest, his friend guy, his name is, I don't know what his name is, Jack or something like that, died, in my opinion, too soon, and it was nice to be able to see him in his corpse version when he came back, because I like that actor. I like the dialogue written for that character, and the guy who, his friend, is kind of sad that his friend died so soon, because I almost like his friend more than the main character guy. So it starts out really strong with this, first, before I forget to mention it, it's got these cool, like, older songs, which really, like three or four throughout the movie, that really, I've talked about it before in probably my Trading Places review, that I really like John Landis, and I like his sense of humor. And using these particular songs really makes this movie, really cool kind of style to it. These older songs like that kind of music and all this kind of stuff, from the whenever it was made. Blue moon, 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 moon. It was a really great way to do the credits and, with the music and stuff, so that's really cool and stuff. So I really like how the characters are introduced, and they're just walking, and then they go to this, whatever it's called, I was going to say Lion's Head, but that's from Invisible Man, ain't it? It's from this particular pub is like Slaughtered Lamb, I think. But the picture of it on the thing is a wolf head, ain't it? I don't know, whatever. But they go in there, and it's very much like Invisible Man, and they're just like, all these bar patrons are like, even one playing darts. It's just like, and they're all look at these American blokes like, who the hell is this motherfucker? But then there's like a, whatever you call it, 5-pointed star on the wall, and there's this like, oh gosh, what's that? And of course it's like to keep the wolves away, or werewolves away and shit. So what I was getting at before is, after that creepy whatever scene in the pub, they get back out. And this scene always creeped me out, and still even today when I rewatch this movie after many, many years of not seeing it, the scene where it's nighttime, and they're, and they send him out, and they're all like, the woman's like, you shouldn't have let him go. You should have sent him out there. And it's just like, it creeps the shit out of me when it's nighttime, just out on the moors, just fucking in the middle of nowhere, no lights, just the full moon, 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 moon. Really creepy, and when the sound of the wolf is getting closer, and it's just like you put yourself in their position, and it's like there's nothing you can do. And I think the scene where he running and he trips, and it's you think he got attacked, but he's just like, and then I think that scene is perfectly written and executed, where the initial shock of him tripping you think is the attack, and then you let your guard down right in time for it to be like, rah, the real attack. And that scene is just, even by today's standards, still really disturbing and creepy, and oh my gosh. So the effects in this movie are just top notch. And one thing, having revisited, is I will say it's just kind of like, I don't know, the first half of it, like after he's in the hospital, when he's in the hospital and all this and that, it kind of, having revisited it, it's just kind of like, it kind of trudges along a little bit when he's in the hospital. And one thing I love, though, is, when you're feverish, I was just kind of sick sometime this past fall, and early October or something like that, and feverish and all this kind of shit. And when I'm feverish, my mind, kind of has these weird thoughts. I won't go into them. I don't mean like that, but I mean like, I don't know, your mind kind of, when you're trying to sleep, it kind of is, it's racing, it's thinking about shit on its own without your permission, and not bad shit, just, and just, you don't want to sleep. You don't want your mind to be thinking of stuff when you're trying to sleep. So one thing I really like about this movie is those like feverish or whatever, dreams he has, which are like him running naked and attacking a deer in the woods, and that fucking awesome scene, which is just out of nowhere, of him at home with his family and the Nazi zombie wolf, whatever the fuck they're busting in and machine gunning the whole place and burning the house down, is just like nonsensical, just feverish dream stuff out of nowhere crap. So that's cool. But at the end of the day, like the mid part of the movie, like when he's in the hospital and shit, and it's just like, I don't know, call me picky, but I mean it just kind of stagnates a little bit there for me a little bit. And of course the Jenny, whatever her name is, Arger, or whatever the hell this woman's name is, of course, who would go on to be very short, briefly, like in, Darkman and Child's Play 2 and Avengers and Captain America, Winter Soldier and all this kind of stuff. She's obviously, really, pretty cute and stuff like that. And I remember the sex scene, when I was younger, being a lot more explicit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's almost Sesame Street sex scene, I remember when I was a kid, like, enjoying it. Before I was really, anyway, never mind. But I remember the sex scene being more explicit, and now it's just like you could see that on Oprah, So, oh well, the sex scene was kind of a bummer, but I guess it's a very simple, simple. I mean, I'm afraid the movie wasn't as great as I remember it being. I'll go 3 stars. I think I'll go 3 stars for American Werewolf in London. It's fantastic, and its sense of humor is amazing, and it balances very perfectly. If you watched our Fargo review, you will see that one of the biggest problems I had with that movie is just the movie's not knowing whether it wants to be funny or serious. And that movie is it doesn't work for me. But this movie does the exact same thing, where it's like both funny and serious, but for me it works perfectly. And it's uncanny. I don't know how it works perfectly. But I think because when the funny stuff is funny, it's only funny, and when the serious enough stuff happens, it's only serious. Maybe that's why this works better for me, because it's like not both happening at the same time and overlapping and shit. I don't know. But I love the sense of humor about this movie, and of course the classic tune that's playing while he changes into the werewolf, and the amazing change over into the werewolf scene and all this and that really creepy scene in the underground train, whatever the hell it's called over there. What's it called, Will? Is it a train or subway? You call it a train or a subway over there, the underground rail system? Let me know. But that scene is really cool. One of my favorite shots in the whole movie, of course, is the high shot on the escalator, where you see at the top of the frame right about here, after a while, the werewolf creep into the shot just before it cuts to the point of view of the werewolf, going towards the guy on the escalator. That's a really creepy, fantastic ending to that really, really creepy scene, because unlike being out in the middle of nowhere like on the moors, the guy is it's the opposite. He's all confined in this tunnel, and there's, he's, instead of having everywhere to go on the moors, you've got nowhere to go, but it's the exact same thing. It's like you can't escape this creepy ass werewolf. And of course, it's really sad, and me talking about this movie perfectly balancing comedy and seriousness, it's a very sad, almost to the point of getting teary, when he calls his little sister, and his parents and his brother, I think he'd had a brother or whatever, are gone, and I don't know what the hell time it'd be in America if it was during the day in the UK, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't think that through when he wrote it, but whatever. Because I don't know if it'd be the middle of the night or whatever, but maybe not. But anyway, that scene is really sad to me and really heart-wrenching, because here he's saying goodbye. He's telling his little sister, who's like 10 or whatever, to say goodbye to his parents and his brother, and that he loves them, and trying to tell his 10-year-old sister that he loves her, and she's like, yeah, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I do, you little creep. And it's that moment of the movie is just like, wow, you know, that's brilliantly written and brilliantly conceived, and almost makes you weep, you know, because he's basically saying goodbye. He knows it. And fantastic humor when he wakes up in the you know, naked in the zoo, and he's got to run around, and some naked American man stole my balloons. And that fantastic shot when those people sitting on the bench and just runs by with the balloons and takes her jacket, and the squeak of the balloon sound when he pulls the jacket off and off the bench. And you know, fantastic humor. The end is kind of really cool with that, like the massacre in the Piccadilly Circus or whatever, when he comes out of the thing and bites the guy's head off, and people are, including John Landis, doing a stunt, you know, just having all kinds of car accidents, and you know, people getting run over and flying out of car windows and shit. So, and I love how it just ends where it's just the big static shot of his naked dead corpse, and it's just like cuts to black. So 3 stars for American Werewolf in London. It's very fantastic, but for me, like, I don't know, the middle or something like that when he's in the hospital is just like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of hospitals, and I guess I don't like scenes in movies where people are just in hospitals, even if it's got Jenny, whatever her name is, in the scene. But she was really cute then, and she's a little older now. And so thank you very much, Will Powell, for requesting that particular movie review. And as always, you know, this goes out to anyone watching. If you've seen a movie that you want me to review, and that I haven't yet reviewed, be sure to send me a message or leave a comment on any of the reviews that I do. And if I've seen it, I'll review it. In some rare cases, I will watch a movie if I had an interest in it anyway, if I haven't seen it. But if I don't have an interest in it, I'm afraid I won't watch it just to review it. But if I've seen it, I'll definitely review it. So thank you very much again to Will Powell for requesting, and thanks to anyone, including him, for watching. And as always, I'll catch you on the next movie review.